Hi, I'm Alex, one of the co-founders and CEO of Sunflower Labs, and I wanted to give you a quick demo of how our system works. So what you see here is our main UI. So as soon as you log into our system, you will see all of the units which are available to you. In this case, I have six, and all of them are ready to go. All of them are operational and configured, but I'm going to go with this one over here. That's our office. As soon as I log in, you will see a 3D map. This 3D map is generated based on data that we either gather from Google or we collect with a drone ourselves or from any other location, anybody who can provide us photogrammic data that we can reconstruct into a 3D model. It's super convenient because you can really see both where the system is installed, in this case it's right here in the front, to where you're going to be flying, what all of the obstacles on the property might be. We will geocage the property. So this yellow box is the geocage, which will restrict where the drone can fly. So the drone cannot leave this yellow box. It cannot go above it. It always stays within it. Actually, there are three other limits. So the yellow one is our planning volume. The orange one is our technical error, and the red one is the contingency volume. So the drone cannot fly outside the red zone. It will do an emergency landing if that happens. It doesn't happen. So, but you can't even send it close to that. You can only send it within the yellow zone. So that's one of the precautions that we do to make sure that the drone stays on the property it's configured to protect. Then we also map the property for obstacles. So here I can turn on this grid map, and here you could see that the building is covered in these roughly 2 by 2 meter cubes, and this is what the drone uses in order to plan its path around obstacles. Now, some obstacles are real, such as buildings and trees, and some obstacles are virtual, which will guide the drone's behavior. In this case, these two large pillars over the street, they're there in order to prevent the drone from flying over the street willy-nilly. It always crosses the street only using this a gap in between the two obstacles. We call it sort of a virtual crosswalk. So the drone, if it needs to get to the field where we do our range testing, so it's a friendly farmer that allows us to fly over this field. If the drone needs to cross the street, it will go through that gap to the other side and not diagonally over the street in order to minimize any type of ground risk of exposing the drone to a public street. That's also really important that we're able to configure this because this goes into some of our regulatory approvals when we show that we go out of our way in order to minimize any type of ground risk. Okay, I'll turn off the obstacles, and now I can show you three ways that you can fly the drone. One, you can just go to one of these floating green points. You see all of these green points? These are virtual security cameras. So instead of you having to have a camera at every location you might want to observe, you can just put this point anywhere and give it a name. So for example, this one is called window. This one I think is called garage. And they will be assigned and they will go into your missions, and you can basically send the drone to any one of these predefined virtual locations, and the drone will always go to the same location to give you exactly the same observations. Much easier than installing this many cameras if you truly want that. The other way to fly is that you can just go into missions, and in the missions you can select a patrol. So the top selector here, you can inspect something. So these are these named locations I mentioned, or you can do a patrol, which is a sequence of these points that you can visit. So here I can say I want to do an office inspection, and it will show me a preview of what the office inspection is going to be. So I'm going to visit the Hive view, which is the location where I can see the base station itself. I'm going to go see the office from the southwest, then from the northeast, then I'm going to look at the barbecue, and then I'm going to look at this balcony, and then we're going to come back for a landing. And I'm going to say start. I get a warning here because it is indeed pretty windy today. And so our system detected it might be windy, and it told me, are you sure? It's okay. I checked. We're just going to override that and deploy the system. So here we go. Within seconds, the drone self-diagnoses, opens the roof, deploys, and it's airborne within about 5 seconds of me clicking any button. Right now, you saw that's the base station. That was the first observation point. Now it's going to go to see office from the southwest. Notice the blurring around the trees? That's not an accident. This is a custom feature, it's an optional feature that we developed in order to provide extra privacy to your neighbors. You might be flying over a property that you're trying to secure, but your neighbors don't necessarily want you looking in their windows or securing their property. And we are computing and applying this privacy mask at 25 frames per second using some of the more advanced computer vision techniques that we have built into our system. And you can see that as it flies, that blur mask stays consistent, making sure that we don't accidentally look at your neighbors if they don't want you to. Here we've reached the third point. This is the barbecue. Doesn't look like there's any barbecuing going on. Now we're going to go to the balcony. Um, doesn't seem like there's any action on the balcony either. It's one of our conference rooms. And now the patrol is done. The system is going to return to its base station. It's going to navigate around the building. It's going to come into the location of the base station. That green dot that you see at the top, that's the landing beacon projecting, guiding the drone, how it needs to enter the base station. Finally, it slides in. Because of the unique shape of our drone and the funnel of our base station, it always ends up in the center. At the very top, you see alerts. Those were the self-diagnostic tests. The system already completed the test, and it's ready to fly again. There is an alert for the weather, which I mentioned. So if I click on this, you can see indeed there are 24.4 mile an hour gusts in the area, but the system still navigates it just fine. Anything in this amber region is considered marginal weather. We can fly up to about 30 mile an hour winds, 31 miles an hour, or 50 kilometers per hour if necessary. And then, like I said, the system is ready to fly again. If I wanted to fly again, there's one more way that you could fly. We call it fly to. So instead of you selecting a predefined point, or instead of you, sort of naming anything, you can just say what you want to take a look at. And so I wanted to look at this area over here. This is where our test site is for our drones. And I'm just going to double click. Again, I got the weather warning, so I'm going to continue. You see that orange blob which appeared right there? That is the target for the drone to observe. It's a dynamic target that was computed based on where I clicked on the map. Within 5 seconds, doors open up, drone takes off and flies over there. By the way, I'm doing these live. This is, the time I'm recording the video. This is literally me just flying a drone around. You can see it is kind of windy. You can see the shadow from the flags. The drone comes in to the location that I marked on the map. And then there you could see our test site. So these are the next 5 systems that we are finishing. They're going to some test flights, and then they're going to be available to the customers. By the way, on the left here, I have my PTZ controls. I can come in a little bit closer to get a better look. I can zoom in, zoom out, or I can click on something else I want to take a look at. For example, I can just double click in the video. I'm clicking on the window at the top. The drone figures out where I clicked in the live video and where I wanted to look at and goes directly there. Why am I sort of stressing this? Is because our system is built for people who are not pilots. You don't need to know how to operate a drone. You don't need to know how to control the joysticks very delicately. It's really just a flying security camera, and you just say what you want to look at. I want to look at the black car. I double click on that black car, and the drone goes there. And by the way, we're flying in this split mode. So you see the maps. You can turn that off as well. You can just go into the mode where all you see is the video. And then if you need these controls, you can open up these controls. You can toggle the mini map, and you can say, you know what? I really want to inspect this skylight. I just double click on a skylight, switch over to the video, and the drone plans its route, avoids all obstacles. And not only does it fly to the location, it tries to fly in such a way that you see the location as soon as possible. So it gives you the best observation angle. There's my skylight. It seems fine. And I'm just going to say land and hive. Yes, I'm done with my mission. The drone is now going to figure out how to get back home, come in over to the base station, open up the doors. The landing beacon is again guiding it in. It will rotate into its resting position, which is facing the building. We deliberately do this so we don't look at the street. And we're coming in, slide in. Last thing you saw with those charging rings. The drone again does the self diagnosis, downloads the log of the flight, downloads all of the videos and all of the snapshots during the flight. So here we just did a couple of these fly to commands. Earlier we did this patrol, office patrol. So these are the pictures from every one of those locations. By the way, it also will detect people and vehicles. So in this flight earlier here, I have some people and some vehicles that were detected. So I can click on this image and I can say, where's the person? Oh, there's a guy right there. Where was the vehicle? Oh, there's a vehicle that's visible back there. I can go even further down here, and here I have a inspection of the balcony, and I can see there's three people that were detected. I can click on that, and it will show me the highlight of the three people that were detected on my balcony. All of these can be configured to be alerts, notifications. The video is, of course, I can just play the video from the moment that that photograph was taken. So as soon as I click play, it basically skips me to about 2 seconds before the picture, and it shows me what was happening in case I needed to investigate this further. There's some people who came to visit and wanted a picture in front of the drone. So that's what we did right there. And all of this can be downloaded, exported, shared, whatever you need to do. In the end of the day, what our system is a flying security camera that can patrol a large area. So about a square kilometer can be patrolled with one system. You can do it on demand. You can do it based on patrols, or you can even do these jobs. So you can see at the very top, it says next job is coming up in 9 minutes. I'm not going to make you wait. Just take my word for it. The next hourly patrol is coming up, and the system will execute it, collect the data that it needs, alert wherever it needs to, come back, land, recharge, re-diagnose, and be ready to fly again. Well, that's my quick demo. I hope this was helpful. Happy to give a live demo to anybody who's interested. Please reach out, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.